Welcome to the HCG Quick Tip, SmartView Automation. What is it and how do I do it? Connect with Harbinger HCG at www.harbinger-group.com or via telephone at 763-785-1028. Before I get started with the demo, there are a few things you should know. In order to do SmartView automation, you need three basic things. One, Excel controls, like command buttons, checkboxes, drop-down lists, as you'll see. Then two, you need to associate with the controls a VBA macro. And lastly, within that macro, there needs to be SmartView functions that tell SmartView what to do. And to look at all of those functions, go to your SmartView Developer's Guide. First, let me show you an example that displays the wide variety of things you can do with SmartView automation. I have a template sheet here in which I'm going to take this template and copy it multiple times based upon what the user wants. So the user is basically going to see this main sheet in which they will log in to their database and then press Create Reports. And when they press Create Reports, you can see all of these different objects I've created. A list here, a drop-down list here, a checkbox up there, option buttons there, and command buttons there. So the user can select as many of these markets as they want. They can select one time period, I'll say March, and then they can select one scenario in this example, but they could do any number of things. I'll select budget. And they could output these to a separate workbook or leave them within the same workbook. And once they press build, and notice I have Florida and New Hampshire here, notice that it creates two more sheets, New Hampshire and Florida, with the data retrieved and in the same format as you saw earlier. Now that you've seen a variety of the things that SmartView automation can do, let's look at something vastly more simple. I've created just one command button here, and when I press that command button, you'll notice that it refreshes the data in my SmartView report. Simple as that. So how was it done? Go back to the three basics. Number one, you need an ActiveX control here. And I just created a command button. And once I've got that command button created, I can change its properties. And you'll notice that I added a caption of refresh to the button. But every button has code associated with it, and so my code, my VBA macro, is simply, it's a VBA macro, but the only command inside it says x equals hip retrieve empty. And guess what hip retrieve means? Hyperion retrieve. What does empty mean? What does sub refresh underscore click mean? So forth and so on. That's more complex, but we have a VBA macro between private sub and end sub, and we have within that macro a SmartView function allowing us to, back to Excel for a moment, when I delete the data one more time and press the refresh button, you see that that button works. And there are obviously many, many more functions that can do far more complex things, but this is just to give you an idea of what SmartView automation is and how do you basically do it. Please contact me, Craig Messenring, if you have any questions or have interest in SmartView automation training, SmartView training, S-based training like the bootcamp, financial reporting training, planning training, or contact HCG directly via the phone number and the website you see there if you have interest in training or consulting. Thanks for viewing the video.